Everyone, welcome. It's Alisha here at Cosmic Gateway. This will be the mid-June 2025 intuitive insight guidance and also the energy update. So probably will be a little bit shorter and more concise than usual. But I'm curious to hear how you're all doing out there. It's been an interesting or turbulent, bumpy land into June. It's been for me, especially, and I probably speak on behalf of many, it's been a big phase of emptying out, um, clearing, deep inner reclamation, I don't know, reconciliation. And it's also been navigating through very weird and wonky pockets of where some of the collective are at. And I'll go more into detail about what I mean by that. But it feels like we're really gearing into some exciting times, some tricky to navigate times. But ultimately, my feeling where we are right now as we tip into the second part of 2025 is going to be a lot of catalytic events on the global scale that essentially are going to be triggering much more of an awakening in the unconscious or semi unconscious and confirmation for those of us who've been on the path that we can see what is unraveling, or we can actually see a lot of tangible evidence of what we've known for many years is actually in the process of unraveling. So, before we get into it, a couple of announcements. First of all, I don't know why I was going to do this, but I almost feel uncomfortable doing this. But I was told to do a free giveaway, a giveaway for a personalized soul session for the first person who can accurately um, describe what it is that I'm holding in my hand throughout this video. It's kind of an in intuition exercise. And if you can accurately describe what it is that I'm holding in my hand, or the first person to, I should say, I will reach out to you. So put it in the comment section. So just take this moment now to tune in, and I'm going to hold an image of what it is that I'm holding in my hands and kind of project that image out. And I'd be really curious to see how you can receive that, and just type it in the comment section um, of what you're getting, and I will contact the first person who comments and gets it correct. And I feel like there's a couple of reasons why I've been prompted to do that. First of all, um, I think telepathy and psychic energetic exchange, or being able to read into the field, is coming online in a much more pronounced way. And secondly, I was told that there's someone that I need to connect with that may not necessarily be in the financial position right now, but could really benefit from connecting in that personal session. So I feel like that's specific for one, but if there's multiple, we'll see how we go. um, and I'm going to keep that in my hands and try not to flash it up on screen. So good luck with that if you feel like you're the person on the receiving end. And I'm sure that if you are that specific person, that will come through in very clear, high definition in your mind's eye. Or as I'm hearing, as a telepathic message, auditory. All right. So, um, the second announcement that I have is I am hosting a Solstice Container that will start on Sunday, the 15th of June. So, just in a few days from now. If you'd like to join, the details will be in the description box below. I'm really excited about hosting this. Initially, I was prompted a month and a half back that I was going to do a container for counterparts. And because the energy so much has shifted and moved just in the last couple of weeks, feeling into it, I just knew it's not the right time for that particular theme to do that container, but I was feeling a bit bummed out because I really wanted to host a container. I enjoyed it so much last time. And thank you for everyone who participated in that. I think just the group coming together had holds such a potency around these energetic portals and gateways that we move through. So this one will be how the containers work is that we all collectively connect on a Telegram group. There are 3 individual Zoom sessions that run for approximately 2 hours. And then each day we are connecting via the group, and there's like individual activations and energy techniques. And that it's a safe space that we can share and just yeah, connect in that way. So this theme what I've been shown is, and this ties into what I feel is occurring right now, this theme will be around soul retrieval and like fractal collection, like really being able to connect our aspects of self, all the different aspects of self, bringing those threads, energetic threads, into the physical body so that we have a clear channel, that we're strongly connected with our higher self in physical form, that we can get the direct frequencies coming through our own soul signature, be very clear and concise on, you know, who we are, what we're here to do, what our role is in what is about to unravel, and be guided. So it's really just being able to collect all our energy fragments, taking back our essence, our power. So the first week will probably be more on the clearing of like collecting where we've lost energies or parts of our consciousness. And then it will be like connecting with the high versions, bringing them in, pulling them in. There's a lot of reasons why I feel prompted that that's the most important theme right now. And that kind of lights me up and makes me feel really excited. When I went through that last really peak experience, that was the process that was occurring within me. It was like I was holding all the dimensional aspects, if you will, in my physical body. Completely fried my socket, uh, um, but I feel like that's what we're moving and walking into in a more grounded way, or a slower process, if you will. And what I've been shown over many years is often those of us who have had an insight in what's to come, whether it be through prophetic dream, download, vision, experience, however that comes across, or just knowing of sort of the rebirth of humanity. Well, really good way to describe it, the rebirth of humanity coming online back into the organic nature of reality, and sort of migrating into new earth, or the in-between space and then new earth. Often what occurs in the energetic level is that we consolidate all or as much of our consciousness, our higher self, in physical form. That's where we perform miracles. That's where we have rapid healing or miraculous healing, instantaneous healing. All our gifts and abilities and senses become really heightened. Um, we have access to our gifts and abilities, and we do this in the physical body. We get to experience what it's like to be out of the density, and walking portals, essentially, of bringing that frequency online. And I feel like that's, even though it may feel like a really messy phase right now, and I can attest to that, the last couple of weeks for me has been incredibly messy in pockets, and then it's like you burst through, and then oh, um, and I think there's method to that madness. I'm going to try and break it down as best I can. I feel like there's a lot more information that is on the precipice of me sharing, but it's not quite time yet. So I will intermittently share those updates as they come through, perhaps in the audio format. But I feel like there's like this floodgates about to open. And it's really a time where I think we're being consolidated to be able to access our own clarity, resume our role in this unraveling of the rebirth of humanity. It's funny, I've never used that phrase before, and that's what wants to come through. Perhaps taking on new roles and new applications, because it feels like there's this big switch up and change around that's happening. Ooh. Now, one of the things that I've really noticed in the last week or two, or drawn to observing, is the holographic representation or presentation of the new that's coming in. It's already here, but it's as it was shown to me, it's like we're at times, depending on our own level of consciousness, there's like a 10% bleed through of the real reality, new reality, however you want to phrase that. Um, and I remember the first time this happened to me was in 2017. I was out just sitting on my balcony, staring into the forest, and I could literally see the overlay or overlap of the new reality that's available that you could tap into. And it was through breath work. So I highly encourage anyone who wants to be able to tap into that is just go find a space in nature, get comfortable, and just that really deep rhythmic breath. And don't close the eyes, just have them open and focused. And you can literally see with your eyes, not perceive, physically see with your eyes the holographic overlay of the newest frequency that's there that wants to come through. But what I feel is that's going to start to move through much more predominantly over the coming few months. And that what I was being shown is where, like, let's say just percentage wise, that we can perceive it at a 10%, and then it's going to jump up to a 20% increase. And by the time we're kind of at the end of the year, it's a much higher percentage of not just interfacing with that reality, but actually living in it, sustaining life force energy. And I feel like the essential part of the role of perhaps many of you that are watching this is to be the bridge, the anchor point, the portals where that frequency. So you're embodying that and you're bringing it into the world, and then it kind of spreads. I think it's a lot more intricate than that, but I think that's the most um, simplistic way that I can put it. So while this stepping across the threshold into that is happening, simultaneously there is a breaking down of the matrix system in real time. And so you may find, as I have, like you'll have one like really rough day, and I'll break down what the rough feels like, and then one really clear connected day, and it's kind of like switching up like this. The rough is really heavy, really fragmented. Just there's this overwhelming sense of doom and gloom and stuck, like frozen in fear, high levels of anxiety, bordering on panic attack, lots of mental conflict. It feels like on those days or in those pockets, there's so much what I would call mental debris or astral debris just in and around. And those of us who are sensitively attuned and have a little antenna sticking out, we're we're picking up on all that gunk essentially, and it's lots of mental energy that's very harsh. Um, I feel like that is partly the collective fear that's like trying to find a release point. I think that there are influences psychotronically that do exacerbate that from time to time. I think it comes from many different avenues, but essentially it's like when you go through that, those pockets of periods, it's like when you look at your life and what's happening actually in the present moment, there's no there's no correlation. It's completely out of proportion. And just being edgy, on edge. And I find that on those days, that's where the physical symptoms can get quite pronounced as well. Like, achy joints, just physical body feels heavy. And then pop out of it and it's like shifting, like day and night completely. So in those pockets, what I feel is kind of happening in the breakdown, or what I've had a lot of, is like this real death energy. And this is probably one of the main reasons why I haven't jumped on and done a video until now, because I was still trying to understand the meaning of that in its entirety. It didn't feel like physical death or like mass death or anything like that. It didn't feel like anyone that I'm directly connected to, passing away. It's just a death energy. It's like the death of the old, the collapsing of the it just feels like it's in the ethers. And so a couple of days ago, because what I was seeing was just like this image of a skeleton, or like the tarot card that looks like the death in the traditional tarot, which we know, anyone who knows tarot or interpretation of death is like the new beginnings. It's like the death of the old way, releasing what no longer serves. But I knew there was like deeper meaning. And as I dug deeper, I realized that there was this a lot of energetic bleed through that was happening. I feel like I've been dipping in and out of different pockets of different collectives, different bands of consciousness. And in particular, this kind of goes a little bit into the SSP realm, or that's the connotations that it felt like. By going, basically, I was so fed up with the energies one day. I was like, just show me what's going on. I'm sick of dealing with this unless I actually know specific details. And I lay down of an afternoon, and it was like watching the worst horror movie I've ever seen, that through my mind's eye for about 2 hours. And it was retrieving lost fractals of consciousness of people who've been trapped in the underworld, or the 4D, like lower astral plane realm. And to me, it translated or correlated to people who've started their spiritual awakening, gone through the initiatory passageway of like the four, what I call, lower astral realm or 4D realm. And it's like they got stuck there. They didn't progress out of that. Um, and there was like a trapping. It's very similar themes to going back to March, to be honest. I think it was March or April. Lots of people in pods that were kind of, their energy was being siphoned and used, and like extracting them and pulling them back. A lot of spider energy, like spider webs, but this was like much more beyond that. It was, imagine, yeah, the worst horror movie. It was just, it felt like being in the underworld. And what I was conveyed through that experience was, it's like that is collapsing. I don't even know if that's possible, but it's like, let's say, like pocket realms of really hellish scenarios where a lot of spell work, ritual, like magic, all that is kind of imploding on itself. But it's like before it can completely die or collapse, there are people's consciousness that is embedded in those places. So it's been like a big retrieval job that's been occurring. I feel like that has kind of wrapped up or completed, at least for now. Who knows? The its experiences come out of nowhere, unbeknownst to me, and kind of sideswipe me. So that's been a big portion of what I have been interwoven into over the last couple of weeks. I'm just trying to think. Hopefully, you can't hear the loud noise going on in the background here. But yeah, this whole death energy, and so what I equate that to now, having a better understanding of it, is it's death of the desolate timeline. It's death of um, basically the matrix system. And I keep seeing these images of like that whole system energetically collapsing and crumbling. And that feels very exciting because once again, it's like this simultaneous process of like we're building, walking into the new, integrating into the new while both are happening. So it's like, yeah, back and forth, back and forth. Sorry, the lawnmowers outside have completely thrown me off. Okay, so I think as that energetic structure starts to dismantle itself, what we're going to witness, what it's going to look like on the physical level, is a lot of turmoil, a lot of um, chaotic scenes that we're already witnessing now. And I think it's only going to perpetuate like that mass series of events. And I was taken back through a conversation earlier of like that whole experience I had of like get prepared, everything's about to kind of topple or unravel. Feels like we're at that trajectory point again. And I say again because I think we have many attempts to get to certain points where things can unravel. But if we don't have the key players ready, prepared, in a state of conscious awareness to, let's say, be in the facilitation of the roles, it's like, or we don't have enough people, kind of at that level, it it kind of drops off, and this has been playing out in my mind in that desolate timeline that's been dissolving quite rapidly. Is like the sadness of getting to the critical point and then everything switching. And I feel like this has been slow and carefully proceeded to make sure that every aspect and element is taken care of so we don't kind of cycle into that again. And so everything's kind of through focused intention. And it may seem like a slower pace unravel, or at least it has been up until this point, but I think we're kind of hitting a much more rapid, accelerated point. So a lot of happenings on that global scale, but I think that's purely just for awakening this, I want to say the semi unconscious, like people who may have some awareness but not fully believing, perhaps, or people who aren't in awareness. And it goes back to the two last videos that I put out, and I feel like all the information that is still very, very relevant about the three collective bandwidths, and that we're trying to all move into that highest potential timeline or amalgamating into the one. I can see, like, I'm really witnessing that occurring, playing out in real time. So I want to go back to what I was saying about the holographic because I've had many days of being able to connect with that version of reality, that the new that's forming and coming into focus, or physicality. And it's actually visual through um the physical eyes. It's not a perception thing, it's actually physical. 2 days ago I was just driving to a local park where I go for a walk. And I'd been in meditation a few hours earlier, and I had witnessed like a pink energy sort of coming in. And I'll come back to that because I think that's a big theme throughout July is like pink heart frequency energy. And it was the most beautiful energy that came in. And as I was driving, I kind of looked up at the sky and I could see all this pink cloud energy formation. And I kind of like did a double take. And I looked again, and I was like, I'm not imagining that. I'm actually seeing that. And sometimes you blink and it's gone. I kept blinking, looking away. Look, no, it was still there. It was like visible pink, almost like formation, but it was energy formulating in the sky. And I think we're going to start to see a lot more sky happenings and events. Tangibly, it could be ships like phasing in and out. It could be all sorts of things, but I would say keep your eyes peeled to the sky. um, what else? I think that's about all. As I said, I'm going to try and make this a little bit shorter because I've been having so many dream space experiences, but I haven't been able to fully formulate or pull through all the information from that. And I think once I get this video out, the rest will start to streamline in. But I've been sleeping really heavy, really deep, and it almost feels like I'm playing out an entire lifetime or reality in that dream. And I wake up, it's like, well, where am I? Who am I? Like, um, incredibly vivid experiences. And I'll share just this one with you because this was last night. It was dreaming about like new technology that will become available. And I've had these dreams before, but it shows to me the world that we're walking into is so beyond anything we've ever experienced before that our consciousness couldn't possibly fully comprehend. And it's about being present and moving through like the heart coherence of that to feel our way through it, not to think it, because there's so much mental hijacking that can happen in our mind. And there's a lot of distortion in the field. But if you connect deeply into the resonance of your heart, that's where your soul essence energy resides. That's not going to steer you wrong or taint anything. And from there, then you can start to work with the information that you can feel into. So for July, for me, it's really about being present in stillness, clearing and emptying out what needs to be, but at the same token, um, being in that flow of receptivity. And I feel like I just stopped at one point. I'm going to come back in. Oh, the dream. Okay. So I was dreaming last night of a technology that allows people to travel easily. Now, I do think that that is the case of things that we'll get to access um, in the new reality. I don't know if I've ever talked about it, but just technologies that allow us to move through time and space much easier. It all connects into the heart. Every New Earth dream that I've ever had is literally going from one location to another through the portal in the heart. And I take that as literal, not metaphoric. So I think that's the importance of being in pure coherence or clarity and clearing out the gunk from the heart to really be in presence and activate that. And I think that's something that I'll include in this container coming up so that we can really access that magic. Um, so anyway, in the dream, I was being showed this technology that I was told is still a work in progress, that it hasn't been completely, what's the word I'm looking for? Hasn't been completely authenticated or like completed. It's like still in its like prototype phase. But it was literally like if you're going to travel one place to another, instead of taking baggage and all the stuff or moving locations, it's like this sphere about this big, and you can dematerialize all that you need into that sphere, carry that sphere, get to your location and unpack whatever you need. I mean, I've never like I was so taken by this concept. Like it's never crossed my mind. Um, but it was like these are the things that I think, the times that we'll be moving into once we firmly establish ourselves in this new reality that's opening up and available for everyone. So, I mean, that's just one of the many, the many, many things that I've witnessed. I could do a whole show on that, but I won't just now. I think we'll move into the intuitive insight guidance. Um, so, just a recap, um, the Solstice Container coming up just in a few days. Details will be in the description box below. Um, oh, I'm going to start to tune into the first A as I unpack. Sorry, I'm normally a bit more organized. I normally have the cards all ready to go. Hmm. All right, let's jump into it. We'll go into the first one. So if this is the one you have selected, card A, jump into the reading. Now I'm not going to do the energy technique and process because I wanted to do a shorter video, but I do intend to do them on their own. So if you have any requests of particular themes that you'd like an energy process around, I can do mini ones that I think much more effective and easily able to refine. So I'll if you have any requests, like please place that in the comment section, and I'll sort of get to them here and there. Oh, okay. Just tuning into that. There is such an excitement energy. Oh, I keep hearing the word the halo effect, an emanation of light. Like I see someone like glowing, utilizing all their resources to be able to actualize what they've been working towards for a long time. It's almost like there's a star that's born inside someone that's kind of just a real, a real, real life, real time activation that gives them the critical final pieces to what they've been working on or towards for a number of years. Could be like 3 years, could be 5 years. Something that's been like a core fundamental part of soul work, creating something. Could even just be conceptually, it might not even be physically, but it's like you get the final pieces come in like in a explosion of light. It feels like, oh, feels, I feel that all through my body. It's like an internal flash experience, but it happens in the center of the core, like solar plexus. So, like, really switching on the action oriented phase of your project, giving you that power up or the confidence or the financial means, whatever it is that you need just to jolt you forward, like out into the arena, like the out into the world at large, to bring it to the world. Feels like you've been in the past fighting a lot of demons, interference energy, obstruction energy that hasn't allowed you to complete it. But now it feels like this like clear, pristine path of like green lights go. It's funny, no cards want to come through. Maybe I'll just do an energetic read. There's a lot coming through. Suddenly I start to see like a Christmas tree, Christmas lights lighting up like a Christmas tree. It's something to do around Christmas, Christmas time. Unexpected surprises coming your way by Christmas time. Invitations, opportunities. Three, unexpected, like very significant events that start the process of now from that internal experience to the next steps. And then it's like there's a sequence of events that start to unravel and occur between now and Christmas time. Christmas has some sort of great significance. It's almost like where you are now and where you'll be by then is like black and white, day and night. It's totally different. Even there may even be some relocation, perhaps, or travel involved. Mm, beautiful. Okay. I've got a couple of cards that have come out. But the King Tide, Lady of the Lake, and interesting, ride the waves in the reverse position. So the ride the waves is all about life lessons, growth, and you'll get through this. I feel like that's what you're coming out of or have been in of like the highs and lows, the ups and downs, like everything is working. Now it's not like frustration energy. But because it sort of came out in the opposite position, it feels like that's that wrapping up. You're wrapping up and stepping out of that version of yourself. I want to say energetic bandwidth. It's just things haven't been flowing, and then it's like literally going through that energetic process that I was talking about. You may be already in it or in the middle of it, or it's on the precipice of just occurring. It's like everything shifts and goes into its natural state of flow. Um, yeah. So the king tide is plenty, prosperity, receiving the fullness of life, and the lady of the lake is new beginnings and something's about to happen. So I guess that's just confirmation in itself of what I've been speaking to. I'll see if I can just and that obviously there's a pair there. So this could bring up relationship aspects as well of working succinct or harmoniously with another or in a partnership. Interesting because she's like grounding, like she's got the sword, and it feels like she's just ready for action or ready to bring the non-physical into the physical, where it's like he's kind of pulling in almost like electricity or lightning bolt energy. And it feels like the fusion of the two. Now, this could just be within one individual, could be your masculine and feminine components, but it feels like whether it's you within yourself or you with another, it's like working in harmonious order together. All right. Now they're all, I'm not really familiar with these cards. Oh, what do we got here? So we've got the release the old pattern. So I want to put that with the ride the waves. It's like you're able to release the outdated programs or patterning of the old version of yourself. I almost want to use the phrase like the matrix version of yourself, that programmed, conditioned, I must work 9 to 5, or I must. duh, 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 I must, whatever it is. It's like, I feel like that's perhaps something that you've battled with, of like, you may not be even in that type of lifestyle anymore, but it's like there's been remnants of the patterning and conditioning within you that's kind of being shaken and rattled out for the reinfusion of more consciousness to come back to you. And we have the spacious minded soul and the intuitive journaling. Interesting, there's lots of orbs of light. I don't know if you can hear in the background outside. We've got birds just going really loud. The kookaburras. So if you're not familiar with what a kookaburra is, you might want to look that up. They're very chatty birds and they like to laugh and sing. And it's interesting. They have, to me anyway, the representation of bringing joy. I know they have other um, meanings, but for me, it's a joyful sound. It's a joyful, so it's bringing back that joyfulness, that play. Um, Spacious mind and soul is like, it feels like you are at that point where you've created enough space within yourself to like work with what's incoming, and it's like effortlessly. It's like you've worked really hard in the past and that hasn't served you well, and it's like flipping into the ease and grace and the effortlessness, um because you've created the space for things to be in that flow. And then of course, like in the intuitive journaling, you may want to document what you're moving through, keep it handy, remember all the details, the components, information, what you've received of the actual process itself. I don't know about you guys, but I often find that when I feel a bit stuck, energy's not flowing. If I sit down with pen and paper and write a letter or write down, it gets everything moving again. So that might even be, it's a good form of release. It's very obvious. Um, no, it's not. I'm not going to read the traditional meaning of that. I think the secret means that you, oh God, that's how much I used to know all these cards back to front. This was like my trusty deck that I used over and over and over again for years. It's traveled all around the globe many times, and I don't remember the traditional meanings anymore, which I think is a good thing. Um, what have we got here? We've got the secret, the crucifixion, and gratitude. Hmm. This feels separate or compartmentalized to the other part of the reading. It feels like there's a different storyline that's playing out here. So I'm seeing a top secret file, like a very official documentation, top secret. You know something. You've always known something. You've had it hidden, tucked away, but you've never shared it openly or directly, maybe cryptically, but it's like you know information. This is completely separate to the other thing, the project thing. This has a different tone to it. 'Cause it feels like the crucifixion is not your energy. It's the secrets that you hold that could imply a crucifixion type based energy, someone else or something else. there's going to come a time for you that is going to require your confidence to be able to speak up, speak clearly and assertively. It's like as things start to topple on the world's stage, it's like a time for you to present information and knowledge that you've always known all along, but knew it wasn't the time to share it. Now, that can mean different things. It could be to share it on a platform, it could be to share it with another person. You'll know what to do with the information, but it's like there's a time coming for you to share what you know. There's a lot of secrets that knowledge can want to overflow. Secrets, knowledge, information, top secret, high level. Could be soul knowledge. Feels more earth based. And it feels like to speak out about, oh, goodness me, to speak out about what you know, it feels like it could potentially harm someone's reputation or feel like a lot of like old world energies connected to it. I get the feeling that this person isn't maybe not doing harm now, but have done in the past. And there's some sort of reconciling some sort of justice involved in that. And this could relate to perhaps something that happened in childhood. I don't know. Take it as it resonates for yourself, but it's like speaking out against it hasn't been time, but now is the time. And not to be in the shadows, but to come forth and be able to speak your truth. And that's part of your own liberation experience. It feels like, as I said, there's like two parts to this reading. Yeah, this element of being able to fully be free to be yourself and speak openly and candidly. It's like it can't be contained anymore. Let me get some more information about this, please. Ascension. I feel like, however, this scenario plays out, it's like liberating yourself so you can kind of move further on your path. And it's like, I almost want to say, don't worry about the ramifications or the repercussions of others. This is about you reinstating your voice, your truth, your knowledge. Um, because it liberates you. And I think it liberates a lot of others too that may have potentially thought that was a thing and didn't know, but it's like you hold all the secrets. So it's like time for the secrets to come up and out. Speaking your truth really helps to liberate you. And I feel like in time, maybe not immediately, but in time that has the potential to really impact and support or help other people. Because I feel like there's a bit of a domino effect there as well. Oh, okay. Has We've gone all over the place in that reading, I feel. Is there anything else? I really feel something about the resonance of connecting to nature or to green, like fluoro green, which obviously can be associated with the heart. But I feel like it's more than that. I feel like it's immersing yourself into revitalizing energies, refreshing energies, new growth. Mm. Freeing of your heart, connected to that expression specifically. So I think I'm going to wrap that one up. It's a bit of a mixed bag, but I hope that that helps or supports or resonates with anyone out there. And if you want to dive deeper, of course, all my courses, personal sessions, and the container, all the details are in the description box below. If not, I will see you next time. Before we move into the next, we'll jump into B. So the artwork for B, if you've chosen or selected this one. See what wants to come through for B. Okay. First words that kind of come to mind is like the real death of the ego, not yeah, identity crisis, moving through a confusing passage or way that is kind of seemingly pulling apart what is true and what is not true for you, or sifting through deeper levels of understanding so you can come to important decision making processes for yourself. But there's like this pulling apart, almost like how the image it depicts is like parting the seas, coming into clarity. Um, but I think before that peak of clarity moves through, there is this kind of, who am I? I don't know who I am anymore. I'm not the person I used to be. I'm not yet the person that I'm becoming. I'm kind of in this in between, and it feels very uncomfortable or confusing. Maybe not so much uncomfortable, but confusing. And the biggest guidance message is like, get really clear in your own energy. Because I feel like what's being pulled apart or ripped apart is like taking external influences of perhaps people who've been in your life, or just old parts of yourself that have been conditioned or programmed in some way. It's like clearing all that and just like allowing or making the intention to sit with yourself in your own energy, even if it's for 5 minutes a day, and start to reprogram or redial yourself in. What did I want to say around that? I see someone sitting in meditation, contemplation, and there's an illumination that kind of starts to, like all this electric current running through. So it may feel almost as though there's like a nervous system imbalance or rewiring that's taking um, that's in progress. But there's a lot that's electrical that's happening in your field, and that's probably what's making you feel out of, not out of sorts, but confused, like a confusion to that, because it feels like it's a very new experience for you, something that you haven't been through before. It's impacting the physical body. Mm. Interesting. All of a sudden, I've just heard a wise woman's voice just say it's all part of coming back into true consciousness, darling. It almost feels like, no, I'll apply this, but to me, that sounds like the voice of my grandmother. So it's a grandmother figure or someone of that nature, like ancestors. It's like being able to connect with those people who are on the other side of the veil, like they're there to help you explore navigating through this phase and to help you and to connect with you and speak to you in that way. Because it feels like they want to show you the new pathway that is being laid out for you that's part of your divine blueprint. Hmm. So I'm reminded too of like after many years of not working in the energy field, just going through such a phase of disconnect within myself. And I felt like I needed to do something. So I went out and did a course. And during that period, I was having so much connection with like what I'll say ascended loved ones that were guiding me through. And that really changed my whole trajectory in life, to be honest. So there is like this big turning point that's occurring, and it may feel uncomfortable or confusing, but there is support on the other side of reclaiming a lot more of your own consciousness, remembering like the true self, not the false identity that you have aligned with. But for a big portion of your life, it's like it's a big process, and to really navigate through that with like tenderness and love, and compassion for yourself. Yeah, cool. So we've got the deep sea diving, beneath the surface, and mother of the salt waters. I like that. Okay. So we've got the way of the mystic, learning through experience and depth. Very, very focus. Um, because it feels like what's on the horizon for you is really practical applications of incorporating non-physical into physical. It's almost like it feels like it's a very spiritual or higher consciousness phase that's opening up for you, but it feels like it's brought through in very tangible, tactical, practically applied ways. So it's like revamping what you do already, but bringing an extra spark or element to it that is just an infused energy and consciousness. And it's like through that applied practical application of that, it kind of changes everything. It allows you to view the world, your world, particularly in a whole different light. As I say that, I can feel all this building of like creative life force energy in the sacral, like kind of swirling and moving up. So it may be a real injection of creative time for you where you may have been disconnected from your creativity for a while and you haven't connected with creative outlets. It feels like that's good expression for what wants to move through you or come through you. So beneath the surface, what's really driving you, the true motives and breaking free. There we go. It just came into focus. Okay. I think that's a really good self inquiry around like, what is driving you, not from the human, but from the soul and how that can be applied into the human experience. What is my purpose? What am I here for? What's the best way that I can approach that and to embody that and live that? And when you pull away things like acknowledgement, money, like all these type of motivations that we would have in the more material world, and we come back to the core true motives that's driving us from a higher purpose or calling, I think that's where there's a clarity breakthrough that comes through. It's like, and I almost get the sense that it's like, duh, like I've known that all along, but it's like when something drops through in a like it's the same message, but it comes through in a different way and it just lands totally different. That's the sense that I feel. And so with the mother of salt waters, passion, wild love, open your heart and let love in. This to me feels like divine or cosmic level of or ancestral love. Not so much romantic, but it feels like it's the opening of like heart-based resonance or frequency, and to allow that to encompass you and to drive you and propel you forward. Like that phase, what would love do? Hmm. But to me, that feels like going, oh, sorry, one second. I've thrown a couple of cards on the floor. I'm just going to dive down and get them if I can. Oh, there we go. Okay. Lots of base red energy, these cards. Hmm. Sorry, I was going to say with that love energy, that feels more like a divine love frequency that comes through the connection of a loved one from the other side, that pure resonance, support, nurturing, grandmotherly type energy. Um, so we've got gratitude for the past, throat release, feel into your emotions, and you are brilliant. Let's get those up one by one. Gratitude for the past. We've got that labyrinth there, the owl, throat release. And by all means, you may be getting your own impressions and images as this reading is being transmitted. It's beyond the words that I'm saying, but just through your energetic navigation of downloads of consciousness. I feel like you have a really good ability to read the field. So ultimately, I feel like the outcome is coming into you are brilliant. The peacock card. The peacock card to me represents so many things, but just in a general context, it reminds me of the embodiment of the ascended being. There are other, references to peacock, but I feel like in this case, it's like stepping into your brilliance, stepping into your mastery, stepping into the person who you are to be in this world. And instantly I'm drawn to the nine and the reminder that we're in a universal 9 year and it's wrapping up a, quite a big cycle for you. Feels like big choice points and changes happening in your world. Like I'm seeing like moving boxes or like leaving a job or leaving a department, leaving like something that has been could be a relationship even, but something that has been a huge part of your life and kind of walking away from that as you go through this. internal changes. And it's not it feels like it's a premeditated thing. It's not like all of a sudden one day you lose it's not like that at all. It's like your personal choice of moving on, moving into something more suitable for you, ending of a career or a job. So there's a lot of introspection and like coming down to like what is it that I truly want? What do I align with now? And I guess that ties into the original message of when you do leave a job or a relationship or something that's been a big part of your life, there is this identity crisis because part of your energy and consciousness has merged or morphed with another, whether it be an institution or person. So it's like you go back through this process of filtering out all of that and then trying to realign yourself back to yourself, which is essentially a beautiful process, but it can be confusing and messy in that. My other card, sorry. Here they are, right in front of me. So yeah, walking through that pathway. There's a lot of psychic impressions coming through, and I feel like this is specifically for you. I feel like you have a keen insight into or awareness or knowing of what's coming next in the future for you personally, or perhaps even globally. Lots of dreams or visions, daytime visions, or just coming in, even things that maybe even surprise or shock you at the level of accuracy that it comes through in or with, I should say. Family. So funny. I almost feel like mute. It's almost like I want you to fill in the blanks of this part of the reading. It's like I know you already know. Um, family. Mm, family, color, past lives, God. When I look at these cards, like there's this whole story that plays out. I'll show them. When I look at the family, I feel like it's a urging for you to be able to connect more with soul family. It doesn't feel to me like it's biological family. It because I see it as like a tree of monads of like how the soul root structures itself. And I can see lights kind of lighting up and connecting, like dots connecting. So it's establishing, whether that be in the ethers or in physical, um, connectivity of your soul grouping, establishing contact or making contact. And these are people that you've had previous lifetimes or many incarnations with, almost coming back together for the grand finale, which feels like it balances like the base. How do I say this? There's a balancing of frequency and color that creates a baseline ripple that allows not just you, but those that you're in contact with to kind of reach source or God frequency. and reinstate that within yourself. And I think this is going to help immensely in this period of transition that you're moving through in the physical, this reestablishing of that network that kind of creates an energetic charge or activating charge to come back to the true version of yourself. Because it just creates a whole new opening or expanding of horizons. You may even be interested in travel, but it feels like it's not like holiday destination. It's more like spiritual seeking. Just seeing, I keep seeing like desert areas. Like I feel like I'm in the Middle East or like Egypt or Sahara desert. Whether you go there, through projection of your consciousness or actually travel there, it's like reclaiming soul aspects or fragments, aspects of yourself. Just want to witness something. And I'm also like seeing The Alchemist book by Paulo Coelho and that story of, you know, finding the place in the world and the hero's journey and coming back um, to the beginning again. So it may be that this questing brings you back to where you originally began. Like it doesn't, I'm going to say this, it doesn't feel like there's any massive surprises in this reading. I feel like so much of what's happening. This is just bits and pieces of confirmation that's helping you. I'll just see if there's any final messages before we move. That's it. I'm just going to leave with that one final message of coming back to your own energy is vitally important. Staying centered in that. So, okay. All right. We're going to wrap that one. I hope that that has helped or landed for you in some way that's given you the confirmation that you've been looking for, perhaps, or just a little nudge in the right direction. Of course, if you want to connect with me individually, all the details will be in the description box below. And if not, I'll see you next time. As we move into Lucky Last artwork C, this one here. So if you've chosen this one, we're going to get into it. What does C want to say? Where's my cards? I feel into that one. First thing that comes through is wanting to explore the Akashic records, your own personal soul history. I just see, like, I'm literally seeing that hallway that often, practitioners, sometimes I do that process, guide people down the hallway of all the different lifetimes. Because it feels like there are important pieces of information that is kind of hidden or embedded in things that your soul has experienced, but not here and now, but it relates to the here and now. I hope that makes sense. It's like you're trying to understand things or something in a greater level of depth, trying to work things out It may be working with subconscious blockages or patterns, maybe something really simple. But the actual origin point or the key point of what is actually the most beneficial or helpful actually lies in what I call the soul journey, the soul lineage, previous experiences that you're still carrying in present day. And much of that information can be accessed, or as it's accessed, I should say, releases things that you've been holding or containing that have impacted you most of your life. And it feels like it's down to the wire now. Like, I look at them shift. Feels like it's down to the wire because it's running on a particular your schedule. It's no one else's schedule, it's your schedule. And there are certain events that are lined up for you to hit those markers with to experience. I call them key convergence points. I feel like they're experiences that we've designed, pre-designed before we've come in that are unavoidable, that are real catalysts for reclaiming or reconnecting with ourselves and moving forward on a more consciousness pathway. And there feels like there's particular markers that you're coming up to. So it's like coming down to the wire and it's like wanting to investigate and explore to understand these pieces that you haven't quite been able to, like, why do I act this way in this situation? Why is it that you know, whatever it may be, I feel like the energy lies in past life experiences or information that you can access through your own Akashic library. And how I would recommend to do this is to sit, if you feel confident enough to do it on your own, and I would encourage that. Obviously, you can seek a practitioner to help support you if you don't feel up to the challenge yourself. But if you are, just sit with the conscious intention and go into meditation and ask to be brought forth the specific information or books, or whether you want to see it like a passageway and walk down the corridors, open the door and step inside, or bring a book in and then flip through the pages. It's like if you make the time, the information will drop in. Do it in a way that suits you, that makes sense to you. Because it's like this thing, we're down to the wire. There's like there's a time frame on this. And to me, I keep seeing the infinity loop just like flashing in front of my eyes. I see an image of like a bear, like one of those like children, like teddy bears, like, but it's blue, blue and purple, and the infinity symbol. I think these pieces of information that want to connect and drop or join the dots for you is breaking out of this reincarnation loop or cycle. It's like you're coming into a point of your own graduation, like from a soul human level. And it's like these are the key markers. It's not tests or initiations, it's like getting key pieces of information that's going to help soothe you and accelerate you all at the same time. It was like, I knew that all along, or that confirms this and that. And then it's like, it's soothing, it's confirming, it gives you a better understanding of yourself and therefore allows you to accelerate and move forward. So there's this theme about the quest, coming back from the quest, moving into like this graduation. Yeah, if it's breaking out of the reincarnation cycle, that I mean that's a huge graduation itself. Like exiting the 3D paradigm. And I almost get the feeling that you may not even be aware of this, but there is a feeling or sense of completion, would be your interpretation of that. So we'll go into the cards. So we've got the Lady of the Lake, Metamorphosis, and the Mist. So new beginnings, something is about to happen. Well, it's a graduation. Embrace transformation. Things are different now. Trust your inner compass and be led from within. Interesting. The Lady of the Lake has appeared in all the readings so far, I believe. And that feels to me like she's really grounding and anchoring something into physicality. It's the embracing the non-physical into the physical world. And I keep going back to this really prominent dream that I had a couple of years ago where there was like a huge momentum of like, oh my goodness, so much is about to shift and change. Just a really heightened awareness and these dreams about going to graduation ceremonies. And the dreams were all around congratulations, you've now completed your ascension phase of cycle. You know, you graduated into the next realm. And it, to me, that's what it feels like. And that could look in many different ways for each individual. But there's this feeling of the hardship, the slow stagnation, the frustration, the unconscious patterns or ways, things that have been so much a part of your life is just kind of falling away. And it's not even, it feels effortless on your part, but it's still crucial to get these pieces of information. And I feel like that's becoming much more accessible to you. Your intuition is growing substantially, and it's really just allowing yourself to lean into that and trust that in its entirety. Seeing that infinity loop and symbol, breaking out of that. Let's grab some other cards and see what else wants to come through. Spacious mind and soul, creating space in your life to embrace the new flow, explore fullness. I see someone sitting by a beach or like a coastal area or like a really serene backdrop. with pen and paper and like musing and like writing things down, and it feels like it's a really enlivening or enlightening process of like sitting in a cafe and spending just a lot of time there just journaling or writing. It's like your own, it's like your it's a tongue twister. It's not really. It's like you're in your own world and really enjoying. Like when I break it down, it's like you're so consumed by being in your own inner world and the joy that that brings you, and writing notes from it down. It's almost like you're creating the new storyline of your life, but it's like you're deeply connected to that, and it's like you're immersed in it, you're embodied, or it's around you, and it's like you're writing it down, writing it down. A message from the third eye. So I think that's a lot of visual, um, psychic impressions, visions of the future. I think you're getting a glimpse into what's to come, and that feels quite all consuming, but like in a good way. It's like you want to be immersed in that. It's preparing you. 44, trust the call. Yeah, as a person by the beach, just like I almost want to say with that message, like if you feel the call to go somewhere, sit by yourself, be in stillness, silence, I think that's where you're going to be able to explore that fullness, that spaciousness, what wants to like being in your own little world and playing within that reality, because it's like setting the tone for what's to come. Yeah, trust yourself. Really trust the prompts that you're being given, where to go, who to speak to. I always wanted to say who to trust, but obviously trusting yourself. And that might be something of a consideration, perhaps, of like while you're in that space, just be really cautiously aligned of who to share that with. Oh, all of a sudden, I'm like, there's this wave of uncomfortable energy. It's like hit me in my stomach. Keep your energy quite um what I'm looking for, secure for the time being while you're kind of in that cultivation stage. It may even not even be sharing with those that are the closest to you. Like it feels like a very private, sacred process that you want to keep to yourself. I'm gonna put those cards aside because they don't feel like they fit at all. I don't even feel like this deck is relevant or appropriate. What are some of the final messages might be relevant that want to come through? Interesting. I've just felt really gunky energy. Yeah, be really conscientious of who you allow in your space during this time. I don't think it's going to hinder the process entirely, but there's certainly, it might distract you or pull you off course if you're not diligent with your, like, what I would call energetic hygiene, your personal boundaries and space, because it feels like what you're interacting with internally and connecting with is so sacred and special. And it is like it's insight into the future. It's like a movie reel of being able to see and connect into what's possible. So just, yeah, just be mindful around your energy with that. Yeah, this one. We've got serendipity. There's a spark that comes forth that kind of this real theme around luminosity coming into play in people's fields that kind of light them up and illuminate the path. But with this serendipity card, it's like synchronistic events start to like become amplified tenfold. Songs, numbers, coincidental meetings. This is like putting you on a very kind of accelerated path. We've got the ascension card too. See if there's any more to come through. Interesting. It's very selective, and it feels like you're very selective or need to be. I think you are very selective what what you allow in your life. None of those cards feel right. One more. Revelation. Just seeing it's with that funny energy, the secret card. You might want to go back and watch B. There was a whole, was it B or A? A, I think. There was this whole narrative around you hold top secret information knowledge. There's that inner revelation. It's funny because I initially went to read that as revolution. I think the main guidance or information that wants to come through around that is pay attention to what's happening in your inner world and what you're perceiving and not so much the outer world because it's not there's no correlational match. It's like what you're creating is the of the utmost importance. Everything outside of you is quite take you away or distract you from that process. It's like you're writing the script of your new life as you're entering into it based off like a soul telepathic download of instructions, informations, visuals. It's like you're getting a much larger portion of this kind of psychic impression in intel than you ever have before. And it's like creating a very clear picture that allows you to kind of navigate what you're moving through. But yeah, there's this real strong be selective of where and who you share that with in as it's in its infancy stages. Um, it's like I almost get this sense of like moving in secrecy and just being in the joyfulness of that. See if there's any other final closing statements or messages. It's interesting. I've just seen this deer flash in front of me. The elk, the deer, the beauty. I don't know what the symbology of deer or elk is, but I've just seen this deer flash in front of me. Has something to do with May. This May just gone. Yeah, hang on. I was like, what mother we? I feel like this process already started throughout May, and it's like it's starting to progressively heighten and expand. And don't let anything or anyone pull you off the path or get in your way. It's like focused precision moving into that really exciting passageway. Because it's like, yeah, you're being able to access what you're shifting and moving into. But I feel like it's bigger than that, and that in in time will reveal itself. But it's like I feel like not only are you doing that for yourself, but there is a collective part of the process that is occurring within that as well. And I think once you have that information and understanding that those pieces of the puzzle coming in, that may be part of what you need to fully recognize and understand. And then I think not that you don't take it seriously now, but it's kind of like this fun thing. But there's like a level of deepening of responsibility of what you're doing, conscious intention. Anyway, that feels a bit convoluted, but I hope that that helps. I hope that that supports you or gives you some clarity or confirmation. Of course, if you want to connect with me, all the details will be in the description box below. If not, I will catch you next time and mwah, sending much love to you all. All right, goodbye.